Hello Moto GP fans. Welcome back to ZNGP Today. At the opening day of testing in Buriram, held at the Chang International Circuit, the Bologna bikes signaled their intent for 2026 by locking out the top 3 times. The headline: the day belonged to the Desmosedici package, with Ducati-backed machinery filling the top positions and leaving rivals to chase data and answers. Day 1 in Buriram wasn't just about lap times, it was about signals. While Ducati worked through aero comparisons and simulations at the Chang International Circuit, Pecco Bagnaia quietly dropped the biggest headline of the paddock: his future is already decided. No names, no confirmation, but a decision made, and an announcement coming soon. Marquez returned from a tricky morning at the Buriram test to post one of the day's fastest laps, and to give clarity on his near-term future. The Spaniard suffered 2 low-speed crashes in the first session but finished the day strongly and told the paddock that, health permitting, he's comfortable signing a 2-year deal with his factory. His message was equal parts confidence and caution. Speed is still there, but recovery remains the gating factor. The Buriram test turned into a rare public outburst from the usually measured Frenchman. After another morning stoppage for his new V4-powered M1, the rider, recovering from a recent finger operation, lost his cool in the Yamaha garage and warned that the package isn't race-ready. It was equal parts frustration and realism. The bike isn't where he expects it to be, and the clock to get it right is short. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. The day's drama came with a mixed bag for the reigning champion. Marquez bounced back from 2 off-track moments in the morning to post a late time that put him fractionally behind the fastest lap. The crashes were minor, but a reminder that rebuilding race feeling after recent issues is still a work in progress. When a rider can crash twice and still end the day right on the pace, it speaks to both raw speed and unfinished setup work. Sitting third on the timesheets was Franco Morbidelli on the GP25, an eye-catching result that underlined Ducati's depth of race-ready chassis. He ran a stable program and produced a lap that kept him in the conversation throughout the afternoon. A non-factory rider inside the top 3 on day 1 is a useful reminder. Development gains can cascade quickly through the Ducati family. Pecco Bagnaia topped the morning running but chose an aero-focused afternoon program, testing the packages Ducati must choose between for homologation. The shift in priorities meant he didn't improve later, but the data haul will be important for winter decisions. Morning pace and afternoon development is a classic test day balance. Bagnaia gave engineers the reading they needed. Marco Bezzecchi looked strong in the middle of the day, even leading for several minutes before the Bologna bikes reclaimed the top spots. His afternoon pace reinforced that Aprilia remain a credible threat when their setup and tire window align. Aprilia's presence in the global top group keeps the early season picture competitive, not yet a Ducati monopoly. Raul Fernandez suffered a technical hiccup in the morning but climbed back into the top 6 by the afternoon, underlining both the RSGP's potential and the stop-start nature of early testing. Tests are as much about reliability as speed. Fernandez's bounce back was exactly the sort of troubleshooting teams need now. For Jorge Martin, the day was about rebuilding and feeling. He posted competitive numbers in the morning but, like several rivals, couldn't improve after lunch. The focus was on understanding tire behavior and rideability after recent downtime. When riders return from layoffs or injuries, test days are measured in laps and sensations more than headline times. Ducati's hat-trick on day 1 in Buriram set the tone. The factory and its satellite runners delivered pace and meaningful aero/tire data. Yet the fine margins were obvious. The top 10 were covered by just 0.416 seconds, and rivals from Aprilia and others showed enough to promise an intriguing development race through the winter. If day 1 proved anything, it's this: 2020 SIXS fight is shaping up to be close, and the real work starts now. Bagnaia admitted that last year's Thailand test derailed his momentum before the season even began. This time, the feeling was immediately better. He topped the morning session and used the afternoon for structured testing rather than chasing a headline lap. Compared to last year, it went much better. I felt better with the new bike right from the start. We managed to plan the day well and work well. That alone is progress. Stability in February often translates to confidence in March. Ducati's main technical focus was aerodynamic comparison. The team must choose which fairing to homologate for the season, a decision that can define competitiveness for months. There are pros and cons. In terms of speed, the new one offers something more, but in terms of handling, it loses something. It's a very even comparison. Classic engineering trade-off, raw top-end performance versus rider confidence in direction changes. Ducati's choice here could subtly shape the early championship fight. While others hunted a time attack in the final hour, Bagnaia opted for a sprint simulation. The decision left him 10th overall, but that was never the target. Tomorrow I'll do the long simulation and we'll have to decide which fairing to use at the start of the season. In testing, smart data often beats flashy timing screens. Ducati's updated ride height system was also under evaluation. Bagnaia explained that improvements are subtle, more about braking stability than dramatic visual changes. I think it works well and can help us stop better, but it doesn't lower the bike any further. In modern Moto GP, marginal braking gains can equal tenths per lap, and tenths win championships. Transfer rumors swirl around Bagnaia's expected Ducati exit at season's end, with speculation linking him to Aprilia alongside close friend Pecco Bagnaia. The three-time world champion refused to confirm details, but didn't deny the inevitability of an announcement. When pressed directly on whether his decision was final, "In the next few days, many announcements will be made, and mine will be made too. I don't see why I should say it now. I just made up my mind and followed my instincts, choosing what I thought was best for me." That's not hesitation. That's closure. On track, Bagnaia's Buriram test was about refinement, aero balance, braking gains, simulation work. Off track, it was about transition. A champion who has defined an era with Ducati appears ready for a new chapter. The official confirmation may be days away, but the direction feels set. For now, Pecco stays focused on lap times. But the 2026 rider market just shifted, and everyone in the paddock knows it. Marquez's day began with two off-track moments. He blamed a slippery painted surface and a stomach problem for the early wobble. But he regrouped and climbed the timesheets in the afternoon, completing a heavy mileage program. He admitted the morning was difficult but noted the late afternoon lap times as encouraging. 2 crashes and a fastest lap chase on the same day show a rider still pushing hard to rebuild feeling. The speed is intact, the setup work continues. On the rider's market, Marquez put a firm marker down. A 2-year contract is the ideal solution for Ducati's development cycle, provided his body doesn't become the limiter. He explained the option of only 1 year had been tied to lingering injury risk. But now that his shoulder is improving, the longer deal makes sense. "If my physical condition doesn't limit me, I'll have no problem extending my contract for 2 years. It's a pragmatic stance that balances team planning with personal prudence. Ducati can plan a multi-year program if the rider can commit to the mileage. Marquez logged a big day's work, 77 laps overall, the kind of mileage that suggests rehabilitation is on the right track. He framed injuries, not age, as the real constraint on his availability. He said the injuries, rather than getting older, are what complicate contract timing, but if recovery holds, there's no hesitation about a 2-year term. High lap counts in a test environment are the most tangible sign a rider is ready to commit. Teams will read that number as much as any quote. Marquez also warned that the opening phase of 2026 will be hotly contested. He singled out his brother, Alex Marquez, plus Pecco Bagnaia and Pecco Bagnaia as riders to watch. The weekend's timesheets backed that up. Ducati led the day, but Aprilia and others were close. A full season contract makes strategic sense if the bike remains competitive, and the rider is fit to deliver feedback across an entire development cycle. The Buriram test day was heavy on aero comparisons and run length work. Marquez ran both 2024 and 2025 aero packages and pushed to rebuild race feeling rather than chase headline lap times. Exactly the kind of input a factory needs ahead of homologation choices. When a team pairs a long contract with comprehensive test data, it signals a commitment to evolve the package together. Marquez's words made that mutual intent explicit. Marc Marquez left Buriram with two clear takeaways: the speed and endurance to argue for a multi-year commitment, and a medical caveat that keeps the final signature conditional. For Ducati, a fit Marquez on a 2-year deal would lock in a proven feedback loop for development. For Marquez, it's a cautious promise to himself and the team: race if the body allows, plan if the body permits. The day began badly. Technical problems forced extended downtime for the factory M1, and the irritation built as the team struggled to find a stable baseline. The rider's time on track was limited, and when issues recurred, he made an unmistakable gesture of exasperation. Tests are supposed to be measured and methodical. Visible frustration signals the stress of repeated setbacks when development time is precious. Yamaha's move to AV4 architecture is meant to be a long-term step change, but early runs show growing pains. The new engine and chassis geometry are producing unfamiliar handling and straight-line quirks that steal confidence and lap time. The factory has shuffled parts and setups repeatedly, leaving the rider without a stable reference to build from. The emotional moment in the Yamaha garage wasn't unique in Moto GP lore. It recalled an earlier public gesture by another top rider when machinery repeatedly failed him. The outburst underlined how personal and tense the development fight has become. Complicating matters is the rider's recent finger surgery from stepping, recovery that has eaten into winter preparation and testing mileage. He's explicit. He wants to be present for Buriram but accepts he may need time to be fully competitive. Physical setbacks magnify development delays. Less time on the bike means fewer data points, and that hurts both rider confidence and the engineer's ability to close performance gaps. Despite the gesture and sharp words, the tone wasn't defeatist. He underlined that he wants incremental improvements, and that small gains would restore competitiveness. The criticism is aimed at process and pace, not people. He still wants Yamaha to succeed. There are many things I want to improve. I just want to improve a little to get slightly better results, he said. That's the important distinction, anger born of care. Riders only explode publicly when they still believe the project can deliver, and want it to happen sooner. With the Thailand GP next weekend, the test is a last-minute reality check. If the V4's handling and top-end issues aren't addressed quickly, the team risks a difficult first race. Conversely, a productive second day in Buriram could stabilize the M1 and mute the drama. Either way, the rider's blunt message sets a clear deadline: fix the fundamentals now, or brace for a rocky opening weekend. This was more than a garage tantrum. It was a warning shot. The V4 project still has upside, but the clock is unforgiving. The rider's honesty in Buriram is uncomfortable for the factory, but also helpful. It forces focus. If Yamaha responds with swift, tangible fixes, the message may be a temporary storm. If not, the first race will carry the echo of a test day where patience ran out. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your Moto GP news update. And see you next time!